Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ADD workshop. Today I'm testing out the M12 Milwaukee FUEL Hammer drill slash driver. This thing is pretty awesome. It runs up to 1700 RPM, has 350 inch-pounds of torque, which is pretty amazing for a drill that size. And it says here that its capacities for steel is for drilling through steel is a 1/2 inch, and it can drill through wood with a flat bit up to 1 1/8, an auger bit up to 1 inch, a hole saw 1 3/4 inch, and 3/8 inch diameter screws, and also 3/8 inch diameter masonry screws. It's a real good drill. It has an electronic clutch on it, which is a whole lot better than the mechanical clutches that most every drill has. When it comes to getting to its torque setting, its brain shuts it down instead of a gear losing traction and starting to skip to do your traction. It's an electronic thing, so you don't get a lot of grinding noise out of it, which makes you feel good about setting the clutch feature. It also has a drive feature for driving through screws, everything like that. That'll give you your full 350 inch-pounds of torque. Then you slide your collar all the way over to hammer, and you will get a hammer drill, which you could drill through concrete and masonry and cinder blocks and things like that. I will test that out in a couple of holes. I don't have a whole bunch of different size concrete bits, so masonry bits, so I'll be using the 1 or 2 that I have. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna run in some screws, and we're gonna see how she does. I've got a bunch of different bits to drill and things of that nature, so we're going to see how that works as well. But we're going to start off with a couple Phillips screws just to get her warmed up here. Alright. Has that locking clutch there for tightening. Alright, let's run this looks like a nice beefy 3-inch screw here. I have to run it at a pretty hard angle. This is on speed 2 and in drive mode. Ran it right down in there. Be nice if I had a max fit bit for this. We're going to try that again because that just didn't sound very good and I didn't like the way it sounded. So we're going to go straight down with this one, so I can actually give it some proper pressure. Didn't even hesitate. Alright, something I do want to try is this clutch setting. I want to see how it works. We're going to grab us some screws here, some nice little small ones. Now these are just 1 1/4 inch little wood screws. Now what I want to do is turn this clutch setting down to 16 here and see where it comes. 16 didn't stop it on that one. You see that? Alright, let's move it down because it's a little too easy for it, and it's burying them before it stops. Well, this clutch is, let's start off at 2. Okay, it starts at 2. That's just goofy. Alright. So it didn't even drive it all the way in. And it will turn it just a little bit. Alright, that was 2. If you look, our our arrow doesn't quite line up with our numbers. See, that's all the way over. That would be, I think, 4. Unless there's half settings. So it does skip. But you can see that's not on hammer. Okay. Alright. Let's go back down to 3. So they only put the numbers on there, the even ones. That's interesting. That's pretty nice. Usually those clutch settings are so weak that you don't really get to bury your screw, or it just overdoes it. This, it seems like you've got as much torque as you really need to go through it. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to move up to some drill bits. This is what I imagine everyone wants to see. I do have one little surprise for everyone before the video's over. We're going to see how this thing runs and get some other stuff. Alright, what we're going to do here is I'm going to actually get set up to run a couple of lag bolts with this. See how it does. Alright, so I'm going to grab another block of wood here since it's not really going to be deep enough. Alright. Alright, here, this is on speed 2. Full drive mode. Let's see how she does. Okay, let's go down to speed 1 and see if it'll drive it on in there. Oh! Oh, right in the hip. Yeah, it'll drive it. Let's do that one more time. It's pretty impressive, actually, for a drill, a 12 volt to run a, what's this, 4-inch lag bolt. Looks like a 3/8. Yeah, you're gonna need 2 hands for this guy here. Wow. Put that against my hip just to start with. Yeah. Put it this way. Just back it out. Let's try backing it out on 2. Alright, so you can run a lag bolt in. Alright, now let's try a couple of paddle bits. We're going to start off with a 9/16 here. Let's see how it runs with a nice paddle bit. Alright, so speed 2, drive mode. I didn't even hear it bog down. For giggles, let's do speed 1. Alright, so 9/16 is no problem for it. Now it said 1 1/8, I believe, was its max that it could do. So let's hit a 1 inch real quick. This is, we're back on to speed 2. Right through it. That was a 1 inch paddle. Didn't really hesitate. I didn't hear it bog down either. Let's try it in speed 1. Did it in speed 2, it'll do it in speed 1. I have to say, these are not self-feeding paddle bits, so I am having to put a little bit of force onto these to get them going. Alright, let's step it up. 1 inch didn't do too much for it. Let's go to 1 1/8. Now this is what it said it was rated for. So I would suspect that it could run this, and it shouldn't have a problem drilling this. We're on speed 1. And it moved over to hammer. That's something I've noticed about this collar. It will move on you without really you telling it to. Something to watch and check. Again, not self-feeding. But it didn't have a problem with that, even though it was a nice bent drill bit. Don't know, it got used to pry on something at some point. That was speed 1. Let's try speed 2. Really test this thing out here. Hopefully I won't have to push as long. Gets a little old. And we got a stall. Right as it was about to break through where it always wants to stall. But it didn't have a problem. And definitely if you had to drill that hole with this drill, you wouldn't have an issue. You would put it in speed 1 and you would drill through it. Alright, so we're gonna, since that did that, of course we knew it would do that. That's what it was rated up to doing. So let's go to what it's not rated to do. We have an 1 1/2 paddle bit here. Also, these paddle bits are nice and dull. They're really old. Had to get borrowed. That kind of deal. Alright, let's start on speed 2. Got a big knot here, so we're going to avoid it. Stalled a couple of times, but nothing to really worry about. That was an 1 1/2 paddle bit. Now let's do one more on speed 1. Put some pressure on it this time. Alright. Ooh. This thing, guys, has got some torque to it. As you can see, we're down to 3 bars. Ouch. That thing actually really got my arms and wrists there. Alright. This is awesome. Alright, now I'm going to go up to, looks like, 1 inch and actually a little bit bigger than that. Forstner bit. Alright, now we got a 1/2 inch chuck on this, which makes it just as good as almost any drill out there as far as chuck size. Check that out. Can you guys see where I'm going? Okay. I'm going crazy apparently. Alright, this is a, no, this isn't a self-feeding. The other one I have over there is a self-feeding, but it's smaller. We're going to step it straight up to this guy here and on speed 1, because let's be honest, this is going to be very hard for this drill to do. And I'm going to do it this way so I can push. I certainly didn't have an issue, and it puts out some nice pretty shavings there, doesn't it? Okay. Something I do want to try, goofily, I want to put it on speed 2 and see what happens. This may be a bad idea, but I think it might be a cool one too. Alright. Wow. Wow. Okay. So. Whew. Gee whiz. I want to try a self-feeding type Forstner bit. This ought to, and it has a hex so it won't slip on me. This ought to actually do a little bit more because I don't have to push. Alright. Still in, still a frame here. Oh yeah, okay. Here we go. See how it does on this bit. Alright, let's put it in speed 1. And she broke through. I'm sure this looks wonderful. Okay, I'm going to have to actually drop the bit through because it went through and left a little chunk there. Alright, that was incredible. Incredible. For that little drill to run this bit. I mean, seriously? So, 1.5 inches. Self-feeding, which means, yeah, it's pulling itself through there. I'm not pushing. Therefore, I don't regulate how much force gets transferred to the drill. Something I do want to try is I've got my nice new rigid octane hammer drill. I haven't really tried anything out, and I definitely haven't done any testing with it, but I'm kind of curious to see what it'll do in speed 2. This is just for giggles, people. I'm not really comparing these two drills. They're not comparable, but it's interesting to see how much of a difference there might be, or how little of a difference there might be. So here we go with the rigid octane. Now I don't have an octane battery, so this is closer to not an octane drill than an octane drill, but we'll still get a good representation of how well this did going through that wood. As you see, ow, even in speed 2, it's not going to do it. And I'm going to need a handle. So, alright, I'm back. I got my auxiliary handle onto my rigid octane drill. They put this in the package for a reason, people. Use it. Alright, let's go back into this same hole we were trying. As we can see, that had absolutely no issue going through it. Actually, I want to do it again because that was fun. This is fun to watch, isn't it? Okay. So there's no real contest between the drills. If you saw my previous video in between the Milwaukee Impact versus that rigid Impact, it was pretty close if not being won by the Milwaukee. With drills, you just can't do that magicianry. You just can't. But I'm about to change out my board here so I can try my hole saws. Okay. Now, we're going to go with some hole saws here. I've got the Milwaukee hole dozers. Is what we're going to be using here. If I can open up the package. There we go. Alright, seeing as how we handled the Forstner bits up to 1.5 inches, I'm going to kind of skip up to a little, see, a 2 1/8 inch here. Let's see what happens with a 2 1/8 inch hole saw. This might be kind of interesting. Alright, so we have 2 1/8 inch hole saw through a 2x4. Here we go. I should say this is warming up just a little bit. And we moved over to hammer accidentally. Don't understand why that happens. Alright, and this is on speed 1. Oh! Clogged up our teeth. That's strange. They almost need to put an auxiliary handle on this, and it looks like they almost could. Did they? Huh. It's just, I'm being goofy now, people. Okay, we're going to go with a 2 1/8 inch, starting on a new hole since that hole just didn't want to act correctly. Look at this. Has anyone ever had this problem with a hole dozer? It's like my wood is too soft or something. It's just filling up the teeth. I could... Okay, so I've got a 4 1/8 inch hole saw here. I want to try it because I'm not getting any luck with my hole dozers. It's on speed 1. This thing has some torque to it, guys. I mean, some serious torque. Serious torque. That really hurts. Really does. Okay, so that's about all the Milwaukee's gonna do with a 4 1/8 inch hole saw. About halfway through the 2x4. Ow. This thing is no joke, people. It needs an auxiliary handle on it like the bigger drills do. Saying that is the biggest praise that I could give to a little 12-volt drill. It needs an auxiliary handle. And honestly, Milwaukee, if you watch this, you've got a place to put it on there. Just how the Rigid has theirs, where you can hook it on right here, here, here. You have the same thing here, here, and here. So I'm actually going to look that up and see if they have one already. If they don't, get on it, Milwaukee, so you can save your customers' wrists from breaking, because that hurts. Alright, So I did, well, let's see, is there anything else anybody wanted to see? If there is, after the fact, leave it in the comments down below. I'll try to come back. I'll revisit whatever you might want to see. But really, I just wanted to play around with this thing and see how well it worked. And it does work extremely, extremely well. Unlike the impact that I tested in my last video, that I pretty much concluded it could replace my 18-volt impact. This drill cannot replace my 18-volt drill. My 18-volt drill is so strong and powerful. It has that auxiliary handle, and you know, it's just a full-out drill. And of course, the rigid octane has pretty much the highest inch pounds of all the drills on the market as of right now. So trying to compare it and this guy isn't a really fair comparison. By the way, we ended up with 2 bars left on the battery out of a 4 amp hour XC battery. I'm sure this video was kind of all over the place as far as what I was trying and what I was doing and what we would try next and things like that. But it was very interesting to see what this little guy could do. I did want to do concrete. So, concrete. I did forget. Nobody reminded me. Come on, people. I do only have one bit. It's a 5/32 that I had bought to run some tap cons. Something with hammer drills, something you need to make sure you do is make sure that the bit is all the way as far back in the chuck as it can get. If you have it out some, it's not going to have the pressure really to push forward and do what it should do. But we're going to do just a quick test through this center block, flat center block here. Just see what we get. We got a nice Bosch, I think they're Bosch Daredevil bits. Not Daredevil, they're masonry bits. Here we go. Let's try 2. So, not a problem. Let's compare that to a non-hammering action. Well, you guys can decide if that was better or not. The impacting helps a little bit, but it is not a rotary hammer. It's just a hammer drill that you're just ting 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 as you're going around. There's not much to it. Alright guys, thanks for joining me here today. I hope y'all had fun like I did. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when I put out new videos. Like the video if you liked it. Hit unlike if you don't like it. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and I will see y'all on the next one.